Hello, I'm Lisa here at Piano Video Lessons, and today I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to eliminate pauses when you're practicing a piece. Because you have to know what to play before you play it, it's important that right around here, your eye already goes down to find the next notes so that you're reading ahead of what you're playing. If you're not reading ahead, this jump down to line 2 is going to cause you pause to play. So I'm going to demonstrate that now. I'm just going to start here at the end of line 2 and I'm going to look ahead. So right now I'm looking at line 1 and looking now down to line 2 so that I can get it ready. Okay, so I got there ahead of my fingers, so I knew what to play. Let's say you're still pausing. Okay, so that was my first tip, look ahead. Second tip is if you're still having a hesitation, maybe you need to slow down, all right? So I'm sure if you have a piano teacher, they've said this to you many times, slow down. So looking ahead and playing slowly will give you more time to prepare for that second line. All right, so looking ahead, slowing down. Now, let's say we've got that conquered and now we're moving on to the next part. So I'm going to start here at the beginning of line 2. And now, something's going to happen. All right, so getting from measure 2 to measure 3 on this line, I had another pause. So my tip for this is to identify the problem. So there could be two things that are the problem here. It could be that you've got a natural sign, there's an accidental in this measure. Your right hand is changing hand shape. The chord is going into a different position, and your left hand is also reading a low ledger line. It's 3 ledger lines down. So I'll just play that note for you. This might not be a note, you can see it on the side here. This might not be a note that you're used to reading. Maybe you don't play low ledgers very often, so you're stopping to think about it. Whatever it is that's causing you to have some trouble there, you want to, you want to address it, think about it before you play. So for example, I could circle this A and I could think that's low A. And I don't recommend writing A in the music, even though, that's the right answer. We're trying to learn to read music, not read pencil marks on the music. We're wanting to look at that note. So now I'm seeing 3 ledger lines down circled, reminding me I figured that note out, it's A. You could do the same thing here. You could circle this and then you're ready, you're looking ahead. Maybe once you get over here, you're like, I know this, I'm gonna make sure I'm ready for that new position that I'm ready for in the right hand. So now starting back here, the beginning of line 2, I'm like, oh, here comes A, and that new position for the right hand with an F natural. So being ready because you've identified it ahead of time, that's a big help. So if you can figure out what it is that you're struggling, that split extra second of extra time that you need to think, that's a helpful way to eliminate the pause. Today's video is brought to you by my Year 1 Beginner Comprehensive Piano course. It's great for adult beginners or people who are restarting their learning. Check it out. It's a playlist here on YouTube or visit pianovideolessons.com. So that's tip number 3. So tip number 1 is look ahead. Tip number 2 is slow down. Tip number 3 is identify the problem. And now tip number 4 is to look for patterns. So, or breaks in the pattern. So here the left hand goes down 1 note, it goes down 1 note, and then it's going to skip down to low A. So there's a little bit of a pattern and then a pattern change. I would also look at what these notes are as an F triad or chord in second inversion. So if you don't know about chords, I teach this in all of my Unit 4 and Unit 5 lessons here at Piano Video Lessons, and I really find it helpful to be able to recognize chords and chord inversions when you're playing. Also, if you need some help with sight reading, keep your eyes out because soon I'm going to be launching, soon, probably in February or March, a comprehensive sight reading course where you will learn all of the types of patterns in music and get much more efficient at sight reading. So identifying the actual pattern in the music, whether it's just movement from note to note or whether it's grabbing those 3 notes and thinking of them as a chord instead of thinking of them as CFA. All right, so identify the pattern. That's tip number 4. So let's say you're doing fine, you've sorted it out, you can look over the line now, you're playing a little slower. We're getting to the end of this line now. We've got a nice low B, and then on the next line, maybe I'm pausing again. So what could be the problem here is that you have a big leap to make with your left hand. So we were low down on a B here on the previous line, and then our left hand on the new line has to hop way up to the E that's closing in on middle C here. So my 5 is going to play this E, and my thumb is right beside middle C. So that's a big jump for the left hand. So in order to do that, we can do a little exercise that helps you to close the gap on a leap. So it's a hand position change. We're working on finding that position. So what I recommend doing, the problem that we were having occurs right here. So we're going to back it up and play into it. So I'm going to back it up to here, and I'm going to play these 2 bars, and then I'm going to stop. I'm going to count a full measure while I move my left hand into position. So here I go, playing these 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I've added a measure of silence right here between the part that was easy and the jump. Okay, so now obviously there is no measure of silence there. I have to close the gap. So what I'll do is play it again, and this time I'm only going to count to 2. 1, 2. All right, so now that wasn't too bad. Now if it was tricky, I would go back to 3. All right, so now we'll do it only saying 1, counting to 1. Here we go, playing those 2 measures at the end of the line. 1. So I did it. Now, if counting to 1 was, I still had needed more time, I could go back up to counting to 2. Once counting to 1 is enough time to find that position, because we've been practicing it and shortening, closing the gap, now we can try it without stopping. Here I go. Aha, now I've got it. So it might take a couple of practice sessions of recognizing that that spot is still a little sticky, and then working on closing the gap by giving yourself a full measure, and then 1 beat less, 1 beat less, 1 beat less, until you've closed the gap and there's no time between the one spot and the next. That's especially effective when there is a hand position change. But you can even use it where it's something that you're thinking really hard about. I mostly use it if there's a big leap. All right, so 5 tips. Look ahead, slow down, identify the problem, look for patterns, and close the gap. So you can leave a comment below if one of these tips helped you, and consider subscribing to my channel if you'd like more tips like these, or if you're looking for my sight reading course that's coming out later this year. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye.